What workout equip is worth your money? And what's just utter trash? Well, in this video we rank over 30 workout tools and show you the pros and cons of each in detail. But before we start with the ultimate tier list for workout equipment, let us first take a look at the rules. To rank a workout tool as high as possible, it needs to take 4 boxes. First, the tool needs to be functional and effective, so it needs to generate possibilities that you can't have without it. Second, it has to be versatile, so tools that are limited in terms of exercise selection will score lower than tools with a lot of versatility. Third, it needs to be handy, so tools that take less space and can be carried around easily will score higher. And fourth, the price has to justify its value, so a workout tool has to come with a reasonable price for its utility to score higher. Also keep in mind that we focus on low price and compact exercise equipment for this tier list, so we didn't include complete racks, exercise bikes, cross trainers and so on. For most of the other tools from this video, make sure to head over to Pullup and Dip. With Pullup and Dip you get high quality calisthenics and fitness equipment, no matter if you want to train inside or outside. If you use the code CaliMove, you can now even save 10% on every purchase. Just check the link in the description or the info box and get the best calisthenics tools to make your workouts more effective. Okay, so let's get some of the trash right out of the way. The push-up board is not really good for various reasons. We already made a whole video about this topic and I will put the link to this video in the description, but to make it short, most of the displayed grips do not work the muscles that they should target, and you can basically do the same or even more on push-up handles or parallettes. So why buy a board that takes more space, is more limited and comes with false claims when you have way better options to choose from? High parallettes are the next tool and actually the opposite from the push-up board. This tool is easily an S tier because it offers a very large exercise selection. It not only allows you to do push but also pull and core focused exercises on it. High parallettes are also not too expensive, don't require that much space and you can easily set them up in any part of your house or apartment. Okay, moving from high to low parallettes, and this tool should be a B tier. The reason why they are not an A or S tier is the limitation of their height. So you can't do any exercises on them that require more space between your arms and the ground. However, the lack of height also has its purpose, because some exercises like handstands are easier to get into, less risky and not that scary when compared to high parallettes. Low parallettes also have some major benefits when compared to the ground, because the additional space will make some exercises a bit easier or even possible in the first place. Next we have push-up handles, and this is also a B tier. The good thing about them is that they require less space and are more affordable than the low parallettes. The downside is that they are usually closer to the ground, and this can limit your exercise selection or the range of motion for certain movements. However, they are still high enough to make some exercises easier or more doable. Similar to low parallettes, they also offer a more wrist-friendly position when compared to the hand placement on the floor. Alright, next we have the doorway pull-up bar. This is a very strong A tier and only a bit limited when it comes to certain push and supporting exercises. However, if you get an additional pair of rings, you can easily fix them onto the bar and with that do nearly every calisthenics exercise you can think of. Also make sure to only invest in a bar that comes with a solid door frame mounting system like the one from Pullup and Dip. This is not only better for setting it up at max height without damaging your door frame, but also way safer than most telescope bars. The next tool is a mobile pull-up bar, and I will put it into the A tier as well, even though it's very close to an S tier. This pull-up bar is portable and can be used indoors as well as outdoors. You can fix it on walls, poles and even trees. Another huge pro is that you can not only do pull or hanging related exercises on it, but a wide variety of push and support focused exercises as well. The only downside is its price, that it's less handy than rings and a bit harder to adjust than the doorway pull-up bar. Rings are the next tool and they go straight into S tier. Rings are simply really hard to beat when it comes to upper body training, but you can also use it for some leg exercises. Another big benefit is that rings are not rigid, so your joints can move freely, offering the most comfortable position for your individual anatomy. Especially exercises like typewriter pull-ups or skin the cat are much more comfortable on rings than on bars. In addition, there are also some exercises that can only be done on rings or that are better suited for rings. Rings are also very handy, you can set them up easily and they come at a reasonable price. The only downside is that most push and support focused exercises are simply too hard for beginners because of the instability component that comes with rings. Similar to that is the Ring Stream Machine, but I will actually put it into the C tier because it's only attractive for people who are deep into advanced calisthenics or gymnastics ring training. The Ring Stream Machine simply reduces your body weight with its pulley system and with that allows you to do hard skills that you normally couldn't do yet. However, you could also stick to normal rings and use bands or easier progressions of the hard skills you want to learn. Another tool that works similar to rings is the sling or suspension trainer. I would still not put it in S but A tier. The reason is that slings are only fixed to one anchor point, making them less versatile when compared to rings. Rings allow you to move the straps and adjust the height and position of every ring separately, which is necessary or way more comfortable when doing certain exercises. However, some exercises can be more wrist friendly on the Sling Trainer because it comes with rotating grips while rings are rigid. Alright, next we have dynamic workout grips. Similar to rings, this tool makes your grip more flexible and allows a dynamic adaptation during the movement. This can be way more comfortable for your joints, especially when it comes to exercises that are done on rigid bars. I would still put this tool in C tier because it's pretty good for specific cases, but not necessary in general. Next we have Abst Straps, and this is a C tier item as well. The only purpose of this tool is doing leg and knee raises without using your other muscles that you need when you're doing it on a bar, rings or parallel bars. If your grip or supporting strength is the limiting factor and you always have to stop your set before your abs are anywhere close to failure, this can definitely be a good tool for you. Alright, next we have the ab wheel and I will put this in C tier. Don't get me wrong, it's a very good tool for hitting your abs, but it basically has just one use case, which is doing rollouts with it. It's also not totally unique because you could also do rollouts on rings. The next tool is a plyo box and I think this should be a solid B tier. It's not a C tier because it offers way more variety than just doing box jumps on it. A good plyo box can be used for many other exercises such as step-ups, incline push-ups, pike stands, and many more. Okay, let's move on to the next tool, which is a fitness mat. I think this is a perfect C tier because it has one specific purpose but is not mandatory in general. The only cases that come to mind are when you work out on a really slippery floor and need stability, when it would be too painful to rest on certain joints like the knees, or when you don't want to lay down on a very dirty floor. Alright, the next tool is a jump rope. This is clearly a C tier because it's not very versatile. However, rope skipping is still a good, more endurance focused exercise which also improves your coordination and stability, especially in the lower body. Okay, next are dumbbells and I think this could be an S tier for its versatility, but I would still put them in A tier. The reason for that is that dumbbells are not really cheap and quite heavy, so you can't carry them around that easily like rings for example. Besides that, dumbbells are really good when it comes to the exercise selection. You can hit nearly every muscle with them and they are great for unilateral training. But keep in mind that you might need a bench if you want to hit your chest with a full range of motion. Similar to that is the barbell, so I would put it in A tier as well. But of course there are also some differences when compared to dumbbells. A barbell is longer, takes up more space and is not that flexible when it comes to the grip. Another difference is that the length and shape of the barbell makes it easier to maintain balance and stability during an exercise, which allows you to produce more force and lift heavier loads. Next we have the kettlebell, and this tool has some similarities but also differences to the dumbbell. The main difference is the shape, which changes the weight distribution and with that the usability of each tool. Kettlebells are perfect for quick explosive movements like swings, cleans and snatches, while dumbbells are more suited for hypertrophy and traditional strength training. All in all, I think dumbbells are a bit more versatile and better suited for most people. So I would put kettlebells in the B tier, but they are very close to A. The next tool is a workout bench, and I think this is a strong B tier as well. This piece of equipment has a wide variety of use cases. It's good for supporting your bodyweight training and at the same time also very helpful and even necessary for certain exercises that are done with weights. Alright, the next piece of equipment is a weight vest, and this is probably a low B tier. This tool is good for making basic exercises like lunges, pull-ups and dips a bit harder, but at the same time it's not very handy, not quite cheap and not very flexible. Most vests are limited to a certain weight, so it can be possible that you outgrow them at some point. A weight belt is another option to add additional weight to certain exercises. The biggest pro is that you can add way more weight and that the belt is also easier to put on and off. The downside is that you can only do weighted push-ups with the belt on a high elevated surface. I think this tool can go in low B tier, just like the weight vest. Okay, ankle weights are the next tool and go right in C tier because they are a bit inferior to the weight vest or weight belt. Ankle weights are limited in terms of maximum resistance and they are also not suited for weighted push-ups. For calisthenics, they make the most sense when you use them for the L-sit or similar exercises. Okay, now we have workout gloves. They can be useful to protect your hands from building bad calluses or ripping off your skin easily, especially when it comes to freestyle calisthenics or heavy lifts. They are nice to have and good for certain cases, but not more than C tier. Next we have wrist wraps, and we can put them in the same tier as the gloves. The purpose of wrist wraps is to increase wrist stability. So if you already deal with wrist related problems or do very hard wrist demanding exercises, this tool can actually be very helpful. Fat grips are the next tool, and they are definitely a C tier as well. Fat grips are just a way to increase the grip size for pull-up bars, barbells or dumbbells, and with that make the exercises more grip focused in the first place. Grip trainers are designed to increase your grip strength as well, but they are also not more than a C tier. In contrast to the fat grips, it offers a dynamic and not only static grip training. Most grip trainers also allow you to change the resistance, or they come with different resistances in a set. Next we have the finger trainer, and this should be a very low C tier. This tool seems a bit unnecessary in the first place, but can actually make sense if you deal with a tendinitis or an imbalance between forearm flexors and extensors. So it's not total trash, but only useful for a very specific case. Next is the foam roll, and to be honest, I would actually put it in B tier. Sure, foam rolling is nothing more than a self-massage, but based on my experience, this can actually help to relieve muscle tightness and pain and can even increase your range of motion. It's not a necessary tool, but it does provide benefits that you can't find elsewhere. Okay, now we have chalk, and this should be a very strong C tier. Chalk simply helps to keep the hands dry by absorbing moisture, allowing you to maintain better control and grip strength in certain exercises or lifts. Chalk can come in a liquid form or as powder, and each one has its pros and cons. The next tool is the jaw trainer, and this is definitely D tier. Facial exercises are very unlikely to significantly impact fat deposits or change bone structure, which are key factors in determining the appearance of the jawline. Achieving a defined jawline is often more closely tied to overall body fat percentage and genetics rather than specific exercises. Inappropriate jaw trainers can also cause jaw cracking and wear and tear of the joint cartilage, so better stay away from that product. Okay, next are resistance bands, and they surely go in S tier. Resistance bands are handy, not too expensive and very versatile. They are not only good for supporting calisthenics, but also as a great workout tool on their own with a very large exercise selection for nearly every muscle. When it comes to calisthenics, you can use bands to make exercises easier, like when doing dips or pull-ups. Or you can use them to make exercises harder, like when doing regular push-ups, squats, lunges and so on. Very similar to that are tube bands, but I would still put them in A tier because they are a little less versatile. They are great workout tools on their own, but not designed to support calisthenics exercises like regular resistance bands. However, the biggest pro of the tubes are their grips. It's way more comfortable to do the exercises with flexible grips than just holding the band itself. A bit different are loop bands. They are still good, but not an A tier. Loop bands are more limited in terms of maximum resistance, range of motion and overall exercise variety than tube or resistance bands. However, they can still be useful for certain movements and exercises. Alright, next we have the stability ball, and this should be a lower B tier. Sure, this ball is often used for physiotherapy, but it's actually pretty versatile and not that expensive. Of course, it's nothing for people that want to build muscle or learn calisthenics skills, but it has its advantages for stability training and can be used in many different ways. The last tool is a medicine ball, and this goes also right in C tier because it's not nearly as versatile as free weights, kettlebells or resistance bands. Medicine balls are simply not optimal for hypertrophy or strength training, but rather for endurance and strength endurance focused workouts. Alright guys, what's your opinion about this list? Are you okay with our ranking, or would you put some tools higher or even lower? Leave your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to head over to Pullup and Dip to check the workout tools from this video. Simply click the link in the description or the info box, and don't forget to use the code CaliMove to save 10% on every purchase. If you're looking for calisthenics and mobility workouts, you can get them at calimove.com. Simply pick your level and get your step-by-step workout guide.